Yeah, bruh! Cadabra! My name is Otto Von Clutch! That is O-double-T-O, baby! And we are live right here on the Otto Von Clutch You Oughta Know YouTube channel alongside my co-host today, Referee Amber.
What's going on? I'm so happy. I'm excited to be doing this review. A little bit less dark than last week's, little bit less crying and tears in this one. So,
oh man, last week's episode was sad. This is kind of going piggybacking. I mean, the guy's still alive.
yes.
You know what I mean? So that right there alone, when you turn it on, I feel like this kind of covers the dark side of wrestling friendship. That's what I feel like this dark side of the ring kind of really covered.
Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan, we want answers, baby. We want answers.
We've got lots of unsolved mysteries within this episode, I feel like.
We do. We sure do have a lot of unsolved
A lot
mysteries.
of unanswered questions.
So let's just dive into this review of Season 5, Episode 4 of Dark Side of the Ring. The Beefcake. Let's do it, man.
Also known as Edward Leslie. He was growing up in Florida. I think he said about 8 blocks down the street from Hulk Hogan. Hulk was in a rock band. They went to the same high school. He started hanging out with Hulk and his buddies down at the beach, at Mad Beach, and just kind of worked his way into that circle of friends. You know, Hulk went away to go and train with, I think, who was it? I think I wrote it down here. Matsuda, I think. And then he called up Ed and said, do you want to wrestle?
I'm gonna start training with me, bro.
Start training.
So they start training. What is it? 12 to 14 months, just lifting weights.
2 days,
maybe a little juice, maybe a little juice too, baby. But no. So they're lifting weights for 12 to 14 months, and dude, just transforms their bodies, and they get into the business.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan, of course, becomes a major mecha star, as we all know, the immortal one, Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. They get into the ring. Hulk makes him his tag partner. They went on as that gimmick, the Boulder Brothers. And then...
His first gimmick, out of all the gimmicks that he had, because we're going to go through at least 5 gimmicks here, his first gimmick is Dizzy.
Dizzy Boulder, who came... Terry Funk came up with that name for him. And then they're asking B. Brian Blair, like, what does that mean? What does Dizzy mean? And he said that it's like... a male Valley girl.
Male Valley girl.
Male Valley girl.
Absolutely.
And then so we go on. Hulk goes into WWF.
Wherever Beefcake goes, Hulk Hogan goes. Or wherever Hulk Hogan goes, the beef goes, basically.
Exactly. And Ed gets the opportunity. Who knows? You know, now he gets to go WWF. And Linda McMahon comes up with the name Beefcake that she wants, and then Hulk Hogan came up with the name Brutus, I guess, from Popeye, and lo and behold, we got Brutus Beefcake.
And the reason why they named him Beefcake was because of his ass. Guess the man had a great ass.
Great ass.
Of course, Mr. McMahon, already once again, he's got a great ass. He's got a great ass, kid. You're gonna be the Beefcake.
He's gonna be a great asset to this company with that ass.
Silly.
They kind of put him and Valentine into a kind of little...
So he was still really green. You know, Beefcake was green. He's learning the ropes. They put him with a more grizzled vet, a more seasoned man, like Greg the Hammer Valentine, which was known as a great technician. So, you know, he comes and becomes a tag team partner with Greg. And, of course, you know, being a tag partner with someone like that, you're going to get better. You're going to learn from your partner. So he becomes a much better worker as the years go on. And then all of a sudden... They
pair them together as a tag team.
Yes, they pair them together as a tag team. And then all of a sudden, they want to switch the gimmick. They want to make...
3 years later.
They want to make him into a barber. They want to make Beefcake Brutus The Barber Beefcake. And he's pissed.
And
he flips. So what I call basically, once again, lifting too many weights. A little roid rage. He's getting mad, man. He starts flipping shit. Getting all pissed off.
Destroying the locker room.
Destroying the locker room, in which Amber made a point when we were watching this. She's like, I wonder if Hulk Hogan had something to do with maybe getting his name changed. But then all of a sudden...
He's so quick to come with the idea of, like, he's like, what am I going to do with this barber gimmick.
They tell him, they're like, hey man, you gotta go in that locker room, you gotta go check
Calm him down.
go calm him down. Hogan goes in there, what's wrong, brother? What's wrong? You know? He says, hey brother, just calm down. What you do? You grab them in the sleeper hold. And when they pass out, you just start cutting their hair, brother.
Get to cutting.
And he says, oh yeah, he digs it. He digs it, man. And so then he goes on looking great. You know what I mean? Once again, killing the gimmick. You know, once again, we've gone from Dizzy. Now we've gone from Brutus Beefcake. Now we've gone to the Barber Beefcake. And now it comes to a time where it's the 4th of July. Oh, man. It's the 4th of July, America time. And I tell you what, the 4th of July was not a good time for the Beefcake. Really rough time. So they're out there parasailing.
Parasailing, voting, having a good time. Probably, I'm sure, you know, it's 4th of July. He said he's going to party like crazy. So I'm sure they're having some alcoholic beverages. Who knows what else, you know.
And during this episode, we're seeing the likes of Missy Hyatt. We're seeing Brian
Brian Blair.
Yes, he's there. He's at the 4th of July celebration with Beefcake. He brings his friend with him. Her name is Tracy.
Yes.
So they're going out there. There's the guy in the boat that's riding it. There's the, you know, they're in the water.
And this is already after several people almost had near catastrophic accidents. So she still wanted to go. They didn't think it was a good idea, but I guess they were just rallying around. And so they hooked her up and then it went crazy wrong because the boat driver did not wait for the signal for the go-ahead to rev up and take off, and he just did it anyways. And Ed was trying to help these people line up, you know, to get them properly up in the air, I'm guessing, and turns around and gets a freaking knees right to the middle of the face. And who knows how fast they were going, but
just shatters all of his face, his orbital bones, his palate in his mouth, the palate that you feel right here, your upper palate supposedly was dropped down, you know, excruciating pain. Terrible. I can't even imagine it. So he ends up, you know, going to the hospital, and I guess he ends up in the ER, and someone calls up this really, you know, world-renowned plastic surgeon.
Yes.
His name was
Dr. Mutaz Halal.
Yes.
Habal. Sorry. Dr. Mutaz Habal.
And he on the phone said, what did they say? It was something.
He said Brutus Beefcake. I never heard of Brutus Beefcake before.
And then his son in the back saying, Dad, that's Hulk Hogan's partner. So of course the doctor goes, and he just can't believe that a man of this size, so strong that he is, once again, the juice, all a man of his size, was such damage from a kneecap like this. So they go in, they dive into a 16-hour surgery.
16-hour reconstructive surgery, followed by being put into a medically induced coma
for quite a few days.
A couple days, he said, at least.
It takes 24 hours minimum for your eyes to be able to open up after that type of surgery that the doctor performed on him.
So he said he even had to sew his eyelids shut, which is crazy.
It is crazy. And so they had to call his longtime friend, Hulk Hogan, to be bedside with him, basically, to make sure that when he wakes up from this induced coma, that he's not going to just flip out. He's going to be able to have a recognizable voice there. And I feel like a big part of this that I kind of skipped was his girlfriend, his wife, Missy. So Missy's a major part in this story. Let's kind of dive into Missy real quick. She was a longtime wrestling fan. She snuck into the Boston Gardens, you know, when he was still wrestling there for the WWF. And she just loved this man. She's always had this love for him. She would scream, I love you, yada, yada, yada. You know, and years later, they become, you know, a thing.
They reconnect.
And so it was just real rough. Basically, Hulk Hogan tells him, hey, brother, you come with me. You come to California. We're going to get you better. We're going to get you better. And he goes with Hogan. And as they're walking down the hallway, his freaking eyeball falls out of his face. And Hulk Hogan's like, doctor, I think we need to take him back. Freaking out, man. And then he goes to WCW.
He gets in the movies a little bit though before he goes into WCW. Remember he hits Hollywood for a little bit for a couple movies. I didn't write the names down.
There was a steroid trial going on with WWF at that time.
Yes.
He was kind of backing WWF. He was backing Hulk Hogan. I mean, he was his handler. On top of being a worker, a wrestler, he was basically Hulk Hogan's handler too. He would make sure that the drugs, his money, his steroids, whatever, his gimmicks were all in the bag. Nothing was messed with. And so basically, Eric Bischoff calls it the Hulk tax. You know, how Hulk coming to WCW and bringing the beefcake with him, it's a Hulk tax, you know? No big deal. Just have Ted Turner pay for it. And he was really there for the party, Eric Bischoff believes. That's kind of what my takeaway from watching that portion of it was he was there to hang out and party. And once again, goes through all these gimmicks in WCW. The Zodiac, the man with no name, Beefcake.
Butcher.
I mean,
the Booty Man.
I mean, let's go through some of these photos real quick, shall we? I mean, you got the Zodiac. You got
Booty Man.
That's right. And of course, you know, he's gone through all these gimmicks, guys. Tons and tons of gimmicks. And then all of a sudden,
they say, like,
we can't use you no more, man.
I've run out of ideas for you.
You're not drawing for the company no more.
So, what does he do?
He becomes the disciple.
He reinvents himself.
And boom. I mean, my goodness.
Look at that, man.
As a kid watching WCW, I had no idea who the Beefcake was because, you know, I was a 90s kid, so I didn't, you know, watch wrestling in the 80s when he was around. But I was very intrigued with this man, and I just barely found out that this guy, Hulk Hogan's, you know, brother that was in the ring that kind of looked like Hogan, a little bit of a smaller version, was the Beefcake. Go figure. And I mean, just once again, all the gimmicks that he's gone through is phenomenal. This man has had a hell of a career, and let's continue.
Then we go into like a clip of Missy Hyatt telling the story about how Brutus saved her life, you know, called her on the phone and she's on the ledge ready to jump off, and he talks her down out of it. So, I mean, that's pretty important. That's pretty heavy knowing that you saved somebody's life from ending it.
And she was just like, basically said that WCW treated him like shit. You know, they didn't care. They didn't know what they had when they had it. But basically, this really comes down to this whole dark side of the ring. Yeah, it's terrible that he had a parasailing accident. That's not necessarily dark side of the ring-esque. What's dark here is the friendship with Hulk Hogan. Now, in the year 2024, him and Hulk Hogan do not talk no more. They're not friends no more. They have some sort of falling out. They don't get into details of why they had a falling out. So you're kind of wondered, like, what happened? It's all crazy. So before all that, he is working for the Boston Transit for 12 years. You know, It just shows you kind of like how it was with Earthquake, the highs and lows of this business. And the same thing
his manager stole his money, left to the Barbados,
they stole Hulk Hogan's money and his money. Crazy stuff, dude. So
and left him with nothing. So sold his house, moved to Boston, and hated the next 12 years of his life pretty much, working as a toll collector.
And this is where I feel like addiction comes into play of denial. So basically, Beefcake states that he has this thing called BC powders, which is basically a powder aspirin.
Like a crushed up aspirin?
Yeah, and you just take that and your headache goes away pretty quickly. Well, he drops his bag of BC powders and they think it's freaking anthrax. They shut down the whole Boston Transit Authority system, gets shut down, makes headlines, makes breaking news. And it's not this BC powders. They're claiming it's cocaine. They're claiming that he had cocaine there. Now, this is where it gets all, once again, like there's news articles out there that state it was cocaine.
That he admits that it was cocaine.
So, Beefcake, why are you lying to us, man? It's like, well, you don't have to lie and tell everyone, oh, it's BC powders. Like, that's just lies, man. Unless, I don't know. It's all lies. It seems lies. It seems like he's in denial when it comes to that. Greg the Hammer Valentine assures us that it was cocaine.
Because, like, if it was just BC powders, why would he check himself into rehab? If all he was taking was an aspirin, And that's all. If you didn't have any other underlying issues or addictions, then why would you check yourself into rehab?
So once again, I guess the dark side of the ring of just having, bad management, bad money management skills, all that stuff came into play on this episode. Really to kind of finalize it, freaking just him and Hulk Hogan, they have this falling out. They don't want to talk to each other. They don't want to be friends with each other. Another funny takeaway is Beefcake claims that he's just as good as an actor as Mel Gibson, or he feels like his acting skills are like that. And you know what? I'll give it to him, man. The guy was good at his gimmicks. I mean, there's certain characters. You look at this from when he first started out, doesn't even look like how he looks, when he finished.
No.
Always, even,
Reinventing himself.
Absolutely. So it's a bummer that after so many years of being friends, they're not friends no more. I don't know if it was, we don't know what it was.
Yeah.
We could sit here and make up guesses all day long.
Well, there was like a brief clip that they put back in 2023 from an interview with Hulk that he says that it's because of the lady that he's married to.
So there it is.
But is that it?
Maybe
if you've only met the lady one time and it's because of you're going to end your friendship because of meeting the lady one time? I don't know. I don't know.
It left us with a lot of answers, a lot of questions. But how I say, we are no experts. We are just here watching this shit and saying, hey, okay. Once again, so I don't know. It was an interesting episode. We will wait till the next week's episode. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in and watching this review. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Hope you liked it. Comment. Answer if you know any of these questions that we're trying to ask here to find out.
There's a lot of questions here. Was it cocaine? Why is Hulk Hogan not friends with him anymore to this day? We want to know, man. We want to know. You ought to know, because my name is Otto Von Koch, and this is
Ref Amber. Thank you again for joining us for this review of Dark Side of the Ring.
We'll be back next week with another review of You Ought to Know. Yeah, bro, Adios.